Hi Capricorn, welcome to my channel. My name is Kem. So for today's meditative session, Capricorn, I got Dragonfly Spirit, Truth Transcends Illusion, number 22. It could be number 4. It's funny because I'm getting like, to me, it's like something different than what the card is saying. And usually it's what the card is, but today it's different. What I'm getting with this card, Capricorn, is I think that there's some truth that, like, there's some truth to some matter, right? But there's also a lot of other things. You know how, like, some people say, like, things are black and white, right? And you're like, oh, yeah, this is black and white. It's either yes or no. I feel like for the situation that you think you're, like, talking about, like, truth, there is a lot of gray. And I think that for you, it's, like, a simple black and white thing. But I think there's actually a lot of gray, which means like there isn't a direct yes or no. Like there's a lot of things behind this, and there's a lot of things behind that, and there's a lot of factors here, and there's a lot of factors there. Like there's many things going on in this scenario, and I feel like you're only choosing to look at it from your perspective, right? And your perspective is like, well, this is wrong and this is right, and that's it, right? And there's people that work that way, right? Like this is 100% and this is 0, or this is 50, this is 50. Like there's no gray, right? There's nothing but the yes or the no. And it's like, it's a lie, it's a truth. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just no room for middle ground. And that's what I feel like is going on with you, Capricorn. I think that we're like all entitled to think the way we think, like the way we want to think. But I think because this came up, it's kind of telling you, it's like the card is saying truth transcends illusion. But I feel like you're putting yourself in an illusion with this truth, if that makes any sense. Like that's literally how I'm seeing it. It's like this is bringing you into some sort of illusion, the fact that there's only this black and white, and the fact that you're not understanding anyone else's perspective in this matter. So yes, Capricorn, that's what I got for your meditative session today. Let's pull some cards and see what we get. So Capricorn, I feel like it's like the end of a heavy cycle, and I think that it's the end because I feel like you have to choose to see the truth, right? You have to choose to see the reality of a situation. And the reality of the situation, I feel like, is like your truth is not the only truth, right? There's someone else's truth. There's someone else's perspective, and I feel like you're only really seeing your truth. You're only seeing your side. And I think that's what's caused a lot of pain or a lot of loss, or like there's something that because of this train of thought, it leaves like, this train of thought, I feel like it leaves you thinking that you have the power, right? It leaves you thinking like that you have the power, but I feel like you don't with this 8 of Wands in reverse. It's like maybe you withheld communication from someone else, but I also feel like it's like you thinking that you were on the right and you were actually kind of moving in the wrong direction here. Because I see a lot of healing that needs to take place. For whoever this is, it's like I see healing that needs to take place, right? In order for this new beginning to come through. And I think the healing has a lot to do with this truth, right? This perspective, this seeing only one side. And you went to go find your 10 of Pentacles elsewhere. I think you left the situation because for you, it was only kind of your way, like your perspective was right? And maybe you were right? But I think that it takes understanding someone else, right? It takes understanding someone else's position, perspective. It has to do a lot with compassion, right? It has to do a lot with ego. It has a lot to do with like our higher selves, right? And if you're able to kind of work through this energy of pain, and I feel like you haven't been able to work through this pain because you've been telling yourself that you were right this whole time, right? You were saying like, I'm right about the situation, I'm right. And I think that's what happened. I think you left the situation because you were 100% sure you were right. But now I feel like you're coming to the terms that there's a lot more to the situation than you gave credit to. And there was a lot of times where you didn't try to like understand someone else, right? You just saw your own side. And I think that you actually, I think it's hurt you, right? I think it's hurt you. I think it really, really hurt you. I think that's why you need this healing. I think whatever happened, whatever transpired, it's going to be different for all of you, but this really, really hurt you, right? This really took a toll on your, like, on your well-being. And I think that's why you see, like, the fact that you have to leave, right? Because you're in so much pain. But I think that, again, I feel like you left and you went to, like, go make your 10 of Pentacles somewhere else. Like, you're leaving to go do this somewhere else. Like, wherever you were doing it, you were like, I don't need to do it here anymore. Like, this isn't the right place for me. And you left. And I feel like you didn't have, like, a lot of faith in the situation with this person. That's why you left, right? And you had more faith in yourself, but not this person. Or, like, there's something about faith here, right? I think, like, your faith was tested. And instead of putting work in or, again, understanding, it was more of like, I'm in pain and I gotta leave, right? And I can justify, remember I said I feel like judgment? It's like, yeah, you're like, I'm justifying, like, the fact that I left because, again, this is like a black and white situation. There's no other way to see it. But there is some, I feel like now you're seeing something else. Like, you're seeing something else to this. And that's what's causing you to kind of, like, I feel like this is you right now, where you're, like, understanding that maybe it wasn't black and white, right? Or maybe there was more to it than you saw. Or maybe you had some part of this, like, you took some kind of toll in the situation too. Like, your hands weren't clean. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I feel like there's something about you in this that you, again, you were only seeing your perspective. You weren't seeing the other person's perspective. It's like your hands were clean and someone else's were dirty. Do you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, it's leading you to, like, this situation where I feel like you're just sitting there constantly, like, looking at things like what you did, but it's not like you did anything because you said, like, your hands were clean. But it's like the truth is that, like, actually maybe you're not. So that's why, like, you have to, like, take the time to look at it, because if you take a look at it, you realize that you were kind of reacting, right? It was like reflection, like you were like, deflection, like you were like, no, I can't deal with this right now, so I'm just gonna leave. And you have to heal, because that energy of leaving is not, like, not working out a situation and just leaving, right? Just cold blank leaving. That's what this feels like to me. It feels like an angel, like, fell, right? That's what it kind of feels. It's like you left and you just, like, left. Like, you left and left all the pieces there. It's just like someone just walks out of a house, right, and never comes back. There's no, like, they don't say anything to somebody. They don't, like, tell the person they're leaving. They just dip, right? And then, like, that's what this feels like. That's what this energy feels like. And it's like, I'm leaving because I don't have faith in the situation anymore, right? It's like a total taking 100% of my energy back. I'm not going to give, I'm giving 0% back at this point. Like, I'm not going to put an ounce in, right? And this energy comes from pain. Something happened here where it's, like, very painful. But I think the other aspect that's painful is the fact that, like, when you reflect and you look back, it's like, maybe you don't like the fact that you just left. Maybe you don't like the fact, there's something here with this energy. It's like, you just left. Right? You just left. You didn't make any explanations. You were like, this is black, this is white, you're crazy, and I'm leaving. Right? Like, the truth transcends illusion. My truth is the only way, and I'm out. But I think, like, now that you sit down and you take a look at it, it's like, did I, like, how did this all happen? It's kind of like a reflection, right, of why you kind of dipped, right? And I think there needs to be healing. There needs to be healing for this new beginning to take place, right? This is all kind of past energy. And I don't like to talk about the past, but unfortunately, like, this is what this is about, right? And that's the energy we're in, right? We have to deal with the energy we're in. Again, there's something with dealing with it. Like, you like, not leaving, right? Like, dealing with the situation at hand. It's very easy to just, like, take your energy out of a situation. I mean, I think that's what you thought, but it hasn't ended up being easier, right? I don't think it's ended up being easier with this. With the journey in reverse, it's like, this is someone who's able to see the good and the bad, right? And this is kind of reminding me of the black and the white, like the duality, right? Like, oh, 100%, this is a yes or no, it's a truth or it's not, it's a lie or it's, like, honest, right? And here it's like, there's two aspects to the journey, right? There's two aspects to life. There's sometimes like a time when we have to go through the dark and a time when we have to go through the light. And I feel like you have a very uncomfortable and a bad tendency that when something is going dark or something is bad, to kind of jump off, right? Like, this isn't working anymore, I'm leaving. Like, you know, like jumping off the ship, like, this is like, nah, I'm good, I'll just get on someone else's boat. Do you know what I'm saying? And you're not like, you're literally just jumping off the boat. You're like, no, like, I'm done. And I think that's a really bad habit you have, Capricorn, or whoever this is. It's like, where does that come from, the energy to just like, there's something about protecting your energy, right? And there's times when like, when our energy isn't needed in a place anymore and we have to kind of withdraw our energy, and that's really important to decipher. But I feel like right here, it's kind of like you're never trying to understand the dark, never trying to be a part of that dark time. Like, there's an energy of having to work through things sometimes, and I feel like you don't like to work through things, you don't like to see like that negative aspect, you'd rather just leave and go towards there's always going to be a challenge though, right? Every time you move, you keep moving further and further and further away, right? And I think you think you're moving towards like this, right? You think you're moving towards like the safe aspect, right? The safe side. It's like you jumped ship and you left everyone behind in the boat to sink and crash, right? And then like you find out like they all survived and you got stuck in the water. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it seems like to me. There's a real energy here of having to work through things, right? It's really important to work through things, work through the healing, right? Work through this energy. There's healing that needs to take place for this new beginning, right? There's healing, and the healing has to do with the fact, I feel like, that you're like deuces every time that things get bad, right? I think that you have to understand that there is a dark and a light to the journey has the dark and the light, right? And you have to understand that so that you can enjoy. Yeah, you're not going to enjoy the dark sometimes, but I feel like there's a energy here of having to work through, right? It's like going through it, not going around it, going through it. And that's what you need to do right now, Capricorn. It's like working through the energy, working through this energy so you can heal, and working through it so you don't have to do it again. Like, you don't have to jump the ship every time the ship is sinking. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll find, if you stay in the ship, you might find something that can help everyone like be afloat by like covering the hole with your finger, or, you know what I mean? You're really smart. You might like invent a way to like save everybody. But if you keep leaving the ship every time it's sinking and like leaving those people behind, I feel like you keep thinking that it's gonna make you prosper if you just jump ship, and I feel like it really just leaves you a little bit broken. I think and that has to do with something that you need to heal, right? Healing from the pain and learning like that. Yeah, learning to see other people's perspectives. That's what's causing this, right? Not understanding someone else's point of view. So yeah, Capricorn, heavy energies, but let's pull some advice for you guys. Well, we already have Dragonfly Spirit, right? Let's see if you have any Divine Feminines. So what the actual message of Dragonfly Spirit is, the card number 22, Truth Transcends Illusion, is that there's always truth that sometimes it's like hard for us to see, but that Spirit is like sending us, right? There's always truth that Spirit is sending from different realms, right? That's what the card's basically saying. And if you have a hard time getting the messages through, I would say like look at the most blatant things, which would, like for me, I think it's like synchronicities, numbers, right? Look to how you feel, right? And like the truth, like they're always trying to send us the truth, right? And if this is like a deep feeling that you've been having for a while, some sort of truth that you kind of have to heal from, then that's what you need to do, right? There needs to be some healing taking place, and it comes with actual truth, right? I feel like this is kind of used as a defense mechanism, right? Like this leaving is a defense mechanism, right? Defense mechanism is something that we use to protect ourselves, right? It could be part of the ego, or it is part of the ego, and it's like the defense mechanism to you when you're uncomfortable is to just leave, right? Or to just get out of a situation, or just like drop the energy completely, 100%. Instead of working through something, you're like, no, it's just better to leave and find something better. And what you're finding is that that's not really working for you, right? So I think that you have to drop this kind of defense mechanism, right? And I feel like this grows from fear. And there's something here that you fear, so you just rather leave. And I feel like you fear, maybe you fear inadequacy, maybe you fear someone getting to know you. Like for all of you, it's going to be different, but there's like a fear here. And with Inanna, she's asking you to like drop the fear, to be vulnerable, right? To understand what it is that you're actually, what's actually going on, why you feel like this need to leave, right? She also says something about like how the truth is like out in plain sight. The truth isn't actually hidden. It's there in your everyday life. And then you just have to look for it. Like the truth is literally right in front of your face. So I feel like if we were wondering where the truth was, this is a lot about truth, right? With Truth Transcends Illusion and the meditative session. And I feel like her message of like where the truth is, like they're all giving their advice as to what the truth is. And I think that's so cute. And like she's saying that the truth that you're hiding deep down within, that we can't like figure out what it is, or you don't understand why it is that you do a certain thing. It's like that the truth is equally in our everyday lives, plain, like in plain view. And there's something here about working with the shadow, working with your shadow self. So like maybe like our shadow is that side of us that she wants us to kind of liberate, right? She doesn't want you to hide the shadow. Do you know how we have like this different aspects to ourselves, and some are good and some are bad? It's like, if from her perspective, it's not really bad. Do you know how here we were just talking about how like truth is like it's either a yes or no for you. It's either honest or a lie. Well, she's trying to say like truth to her, like she doesn't even see those negative attributes, right? She sees the shadow as something that you should walk in. So her perspective is completely different, right? Like to her, there is no hiding of the shadow, right? The shadow and the light are like one, right? There's no distinction. So for you, I feel like you were seeing it as like a yes or no, honest or a lie. And her thing is like, no, like it's like blurred, right? It's all gray, right? Like that's what I feel like the answer is. It's like, she sees, she says like the light that you make cast a shadow. And I think that's like really beautiful. It's like the light that you make cast a shadow. And there's something deep with like uniting that shadow self with the light and making them one. And I feel like there's something, again, this is about union, but it's like on a much deeper level, right? There's a union of like the light and the dark, the shadow and the light. And I feel like that has a lot to do with this like thing that you think is like truth or not truth. Maybe it's just one thing. Maybe there's just, I don't know, I feel like there's just one thing. There's a union. It's not, again, like there's your perspective, there's someone else's perspective, there's hundreds of people's perspectives in this one situation, and the truth to everybody might be different, right? So technically it's just like this big blob, right, of everyone's truth, and it's just one big truth, right? If we like have hundreds of people in this room and they all have their truth, I would just say that's like everyone has their own truth, but it's like one big truth, right? And I feel like it's like time to stop. It's like time to stop making it so like black and white. That's what I want to say. It's like a time for uniting. Like everyone's getting union, but this is the union that you have to make. It's a union with the shadow. It's a union with like this aspect about what the truth really is. So yeah, Capricorn, I really hope this makes sense. I love you guys, and I hope this resonates, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.